Okay, so a couple things before I do my read aloud. I have this bracelet here that I bought at that thrift store on Main Street by the courthouse. I bought this for my daughter, and she knows that I bought it for her, and she likes it, and she knows I wear it because she doesn't wear jewelry that I buy her anymore since Melissa has been breaking the jewelry that I got for her a couple years ago, and it was a big ordeal and really upset my kids because she's not the only one who I bought jewelry for in the past. But regardless, another thing I wanted to mention is that yes, there are an increase in my videos. There's a lot going on as I had all of those things going on with the Supreme Court and still do, just waiting to hear on those other appeals to see if it's going to go or not. If not, my new game plan is brewing in my brain. But and obviously I have all these court dates coming up in the next 2 weeks, and hoping that they will go in mine and my kids' favor. Oh, and I also said that I was going to increase my videos and my protesting if I did not get my kids back on January 4th, and I didn't, and so that is why you're seeing also an increase in my videos, because I'm doing what I said, because I'm to the point where I have to do something, or I have to fight to get my kids, because this is absurd abuse, and I'm not going through this rickaroo court stuff anymore. As far as all these review hearings, blah blah blah. I haven't seen my kids in 2 months. There's no reason for them to never be with me. And okay, here we go for the read aloud. My glasses are a little bit dirty. All right. So this is yesterday's contempt motion, which I filed yesterday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2022. Petition for contempt and emergency custody. Now into court comes Jennifer L. Jeswali, petitioner, who shows as follows. Petitioner is and was at all times material hereto the defendant mother in Jeswali versus Jeswali, entered docket number as blah, 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 blah. Today I am filing a contempt of court motion / emergency custody hearing. Eugene kept my children from me again on Sunday, February 13th, which is actually for the 14th too, but I don't know why I didn't put that. Making this a month and a half that he has kept all 3 children completely from seeing me. Phone calls are a struggle to get him to allow me to speak to my children at all, and usually he is not allowing a phone call with my children at all. I made another police report concerning this, as far as the February 13th, Anyways, okay. My daughter was sick on Monday and stayed home from school while I am living right down the road and not able to see her or speak to her or be informed that she was sick, and then taken to the hospital then on Tuesday. I spoke to my daughter Tuesday evening, where she informed me she was taken to the emergency room at Forbes Hospital and was checked. All I know is she had a runny nose, a headache, and tested negative for COVID. And then the phone was, again, ripped away from her, and I was hung up on. And another reason why I do my videos is to just log this journey for me to remember, and for my kids to know I'm always fighting. And at this point, when am I going to see my kids again? This has been going on for over 2 years of them keeping my children from me like this, and I have to get my story out there, because we can't keep going on like this. And it's a running log for me, as it like, oh, on this date I did this, and then other people can watch and see what we're going through. Okay. I then called back to try to say goodbye to my daughter and find out more on why she was taken to the hospital and by who. This is when Eugene answered and would not allow me to speak to my daughter again, and instead pursued an argument with me and tried antagonizing me and trying to traumatize me by saying he told the kids to say they do not want to see me when we go to court next. So when we were on the phone, I was very upset, and I said, I wish so bad I could record you right now. And he said, I don't care. Record me, you know. And I'm like, well, I can't because I'm on the phone, and this is my recording device. Like this, and this is how I record. I've never just secretly recorded anybody's conversation, okay? He also threatens that he is going to move far, far away with my children. He has essentially already kidnapped my children and threatening to do so completely by threatening to move them far away from me. My children do want to be with me. They are suffering from parental alienation, which is child abuse. My oldest son's Instagram recently had all of his old pictures he posted removed and me removed from following him. This is just one example of the ongoing parental alienation happening to my children and I. Every single week since he has stolen custody of my children, he and his bigamist wife have been alienating them from me and violating the court order. They have no repercussions or remorse for being contempt week after week and doing everything in their power to try to turn my kids against me and keep them from me. I raise my children, I am a wonderful mother, and I have never been accused of abusing my children. However, the court continues to allow E. Jazwali and M. Nagel to commit child abuse and allows them to alienate my children from me and allows them to even continually defy a court order week after week. 2+ years. This time, my children have been completely kept from me for over a month and a half and with no end in sight. Not allowing calls and abruptly ending calls with my children. Eugene and his paramour, M. Nagel, cyberstalk me and stalk and harass me by any means they can, which is why I am forced to tell what is happening to my children and I for our protection. I request Eugene to be held in contempt for violating a court order and held accountable for his and his paramour's malicious actions against my 3 children and myself. Eugene continues to try to get me in trouble in any way possible, as well as use the court system against my children and I. I am just a mom trying to get her kids back and to do what is in the best interest of our 3 children, which is to be with their mother who raised them. This is extreme, ongoing abuse to be keeping my children from me week after week. I would also like to bring to the court's attention that Eugene was also recently charged with 2 counts of unlawful activities and 1 count of operating a vehicle without a license and is facing trial. Please see attached police report. Every single week since he has stolen custody of my children, he and his bigamist wife have been alienating them from me and violating the court order. They have no repercussions or remorse for being contempt week after week and doing everything in their power to try to turn my kids against me and to keep them from me. I raised my children. I am a wonderful mother. Okay, and I said this again. This is a repeat paragraph. However, the court, so I'll say it again. I raised my children. I am a wonderful mother, and I have never been accused of abusing my children. However, the court continues to allow E. Jazwali and M. Nagel to commit child abuse and allows them to alienate my children from me and allows the request. Okay, so then I say, this is where I got it messed up here again, but whatever. I request full custody be returned to myself, their mother, immediately. We are suffering from the loss of our family life. We need to be reunited, and this type of abuse committed on my children and myself by Eugene Jazwali and Melissa Nagel is uncalled for and needs to please end, please. I request Eugene to be placed on paid supervised visitation and a mental and drug evaluation. He should be held accountable to the same standards I am, which is not alienating the children from me and trying to turn them against me by speaking negatively about me and keeping my children from me completely, all while violating this honorable court's order. Melissa Nagel needs to be kept from my children completely. She has assaulted me in front of my daughter, has emotionally and mentally abused them for over 2 years, alienated them from me, and attempted to murder my medically and religiously exempt children by pretending to be their mother and having them all vaccinated. The abuse needs to stop now, and the abusers need to be held accountable for their actions. Their vaccine exemption signed by their doctor, they have since been ripped away from, say vaccines would endanger the life or health of my children. I request I have full access to my children's medical records and to be able to return to making all their medical decisions. It is not legal for Melissa Nagel to be taking my children to the doctor. I also request to be the one choosing where my children should attend church, as this church who married Eugene and I has now also married Eugene and M. Nagel in a bigamist marriage ceremony that my children were forced to participate in, causing them much anguish and confusion. Eugene continues to try to get me in trouble any way possible. So then I just accidentally copied and pasted this again, okay? I did not mean to do this. This just shows the stress that I was under, having forced into representing myself pro se, my own attorney, forced into this, and having to do all I can and relive all of this and have to critically think and put it on writing. So I do apologize to everyone for that, okay? And the people that I'm sending these to, that I'm having to serve these to. I apologize, but I think you all get where we're at in this situation, okay? I know, absolutely you do. I request full custody be returned to myself, their mother, immediately. We are suffering from the loss of family life. We need to be reunited, and this type of abuse committed on my children and myself by Eugene, Jezebel, and Melissa Nagel is uncalled for and he's in. So I said that again. Okay. I request my children stop attending Grace Life Church, as Eugene and I made the decision together to stop attending this church. However, Eugene and his paramour now take our children to this church. We decided to no longer attend after years of attendance. So Gino and I made the decision to stop attending this place, and there's a whole story to that too. Okay. So we also made the decision to stop vaccinating, and so he does all of these things to get at me. Everyone knows. Okay, and now we've got a tag team, Dumb and Dumber. However, Eugene and his paramour now take our children to this church. We decided to no longer attend after years of attendance. The pastor married Eugene and myself, and the same pastor also married Eugene and his paramour, Melissa Nagel, in an illegal bigamist wedding ceremony, and forcing my children to participate in this pretend wedding, causing much confusion, anguish, and embarrassment for my children, which ongoing with them continuing to attend, which is ongoing is what I meant, with them continuing to attend this cult church where the pastor claims he wants to abolish the court system. He said this in a recorded Zoom meeting last spring where Eugene agreed to give me 50-50 custody. Which is why I tried to get the Zoom meeting. Cookie Monster was encouraging me to do that. The attorney, that's just her nickname. I don't mean any ill will. I just now call her that too. But I talked to Eric D about her when I was thinking about hiring her last spring, and he has another case ongoing with her right now. So it sounds like she was ready to make a deal with me, which she wanted a $5,000 retainer, which I was ready to give her. But I just knew what she was preparing for. This long litigious battle of dragging in the church and doing all of these things, which she said could cost me tens of thousands of dollars and no guarantees. My children need their own phones immediately, which I will purchase and allow them to contact their father anytime. Full custody needs returned to me immediately, and this abusive father needs to be on supervised custody, and Melissa Nagel needs to be kept completely away from my children. Last page. I also request full access to all their medical records, school records, and to be involved in all areas of their lives, including making all medical, educational, and religious decisions, attending their sports, etc. I beg this honorable court to do the right thing and return the Jezebel children full-time to their mother. My 3 children are not only my flesh and blood, but they are my personal property and need returned to me, their mother and owner. Which I was advised by a person to do that, to add that they are my personal property, because they are. They're not just some collateral property to be tossed all around the sea. They are my personal property. I grew them, I birthed them, I raised them, I took wonderful care of them. This is undeserved. And I didn't mean to write very truly yours, which I did on the other one, but whatever. I guess I didn't make it to this one. So that's fine. I'm doing the best I can in this situation. And then I added Melissa's criminal charges that were in the trib. When she assaulted me, Melissa Sunagel, 37, in Murraysville, with simple assault and disorderly conduct. The charges were filed February 18th in connection with an incident along the 300 block of Haymaker Road, which was my daughter's dance studio that she shouldn't even been attending in the first place, but that's another story. Because she was taken from her dance studio and hidden at this one, and I didn't know where she was. And then I included all of my kids' vaccine exemptions again to serve as a reminder. And then I also included Gino's recent arrest that I already did those videos on. I included those criminal reports. So that's that. Thank you for anyone who is listening and following my channel. I appreciate it. This is a crazy roller coaster ride that me and my kids have been on, and obviously we do have to keep living our lives every day however we can. And I'm so glad that my son Cristian is in lacrosse now. I just got done actually like a couple days before they signed him up for lacrosse. I was upset with Gino on the Wizard because I've always worked with Cristian with his sports and baseball, and Gino didn't really do that, and now that's been taken away from him, and I would like to see him back in sports again. So now he's in lacrosse and he really likes it, and he had lacrosse last night, and I talked to him when he got home and he really likes it, and that makes me happy. And Caleb is still in wrestling and in lacrosse, and poor little Gianna is just stuck at home right now, or what, at my marital home with these people, and she may be playing softball. I don't know if she still is. I need to ask her about that. I don't talk to my kids enough to know.